The NIESR is a highly reputable academic body, well used to doing this research, and they have concluded that there is clear evidence of discrimination in the public sphere.
Now, as the noble Lord Harris rightly says, the investigation done by the previous government was not by some small, unimportant body without respect, but by exactly the people whom you might turn to find that answer. And their answer was unequivocal.
The Dalit community in this country, of whom there are about 480,000, have been concerned for some time about the discrimination against them.
A very small thing, but it will mean a lot to 400,000 people.
Well, I felt this would be a negative declaratory statement if we were not to pass the amendment, because of the message that would send, not least to the 400,000 Dalits in this country, but also to those living in India.
$400,000 in this country who do not enjoy the full protection of the law.
The Dalit community in this country, of whom there are about 480,000, have been concerned for some time about the discrimination against them.
A law gives protection and redress to minority groups. A law reduces prejudice by discouraging the behaviour in which prejudice finds expression.
Now, the problem here is that, of course, it's the Hindus who are discriminating against other Hindus. But the Hindus in this country discriminate against the lower caste Hindus. And that is so appalling and so unacceptable that I just cannot understand how it can be allowed to go on. Unfortunately, there are Hindu organizations who are against this amendment, who feel that it's targeting them. It's saying that high caste Hindus are the ones to blame. Well, they are to blame if this happens. Anything that happens would be because the high caste Hindus start the discrimination. And I think we need to make that statement, and I think we need to make that to our own people, to the Hindus, that you can't come here and behave as if you're in India, because there are laws here, and there will be laws here, and they will be enforced. A caste system was established very early in Hinduism.
Caste, my lords, has a very precise meaning attached to practices associated with the Hindu faith. It has its origin in the desire of the Aryan conquerors of the subcontinent in pre-Vedic times to establish a hierarchy of importance, with priests at the top, followed by warriors, those engaged in commerce, and then those engaged in more menial tasks. I also believe Hinduism, without the old-fashioned concept of caste, will be infinitely stronger.
We know very well what a terrible, shameful thing it is for us Indians. There are two things, I think, which are the most shameful in Hindu culture: caste and dowry. And they both have very significant effects on people. Dowry leads to the killing of, aborting of girl fetuses, and also killing girl children. And caste, which just puts people down. A whole group of people are there to do the worst jobs that nobody else would do. And that cannot ever be right.
I also appreciate there will be particular focus on the Hindu and Sikh communities where the problem is most prevalent. Such assertive action is extremely welcome and is necessary both in the name of protecting vulnerable individuals and maintaining our reputation as a country that embraces progressive and tolerant attitudes.
It is discrimination arising from supposed Hindu religious belief. But, my lords, what passes for religion is not always all it seems. Similar negative cultural clutter exists in all our different faiths. From a Sikh perspective, I give my full support to this amendment. Guru Nanak, the founder of the Sikh religion, taught, "Ask not a person's caste, but look to the inner light within." My lords, emphasis on the equal dignity of all human beings is central to Sikh teachings. The Gurus taught that people of all faiths must respect fundamental human rights and the equality of all people, including full gender equality. Attitudes of superiority and inferiority are found in all societies. Remember the media headlines: Prince William marries a commoner.
It is indeed a surprise and a shock to learn that caste prejudice has come to this country.
If there is one thing which really annoys people about immigration, it is when people bring to this country attitudes which are wholly contrary to the traditions of Britain. In Britain, no one should suffer discrimination on the grounds of anything which they cannot help. They cannot help their sexual orientation, they cannot help their colour, they very often cannot help their religion, or they have chosen that religion. most people in Britain feel that we do have here a society which should be welcoming, but it should be welcoming on the terms of the tolerance which has been so much part of our history.
There are something like 200 million Dalits in the world, and the institutionalized prejudice against them is one of the most degrading and humiliating forms of rejection invented by cruel human beings.
Because clearly very few of the British people understand the caste system or even know what caste means, other than that it's higher and lower. But apart from that, they would not know.
It is no good listening to those who, in their own circumstances, have a view of caste different from the majority of us in this House.
Along with feelings of superiority to other groups, this is reprehensible.
Anybody in this House who has any history of discrimination, whether it's the small amount that Catholics have today but still real, or the great amount that people have because they are of colour or Jewish or any other minority group, let them make sure that they do not fail the Dalits, because they have a greater responsibility than those who are lucky enough not to have suffered discrimination as a subject of Her Majesty.
Yeah.
As the only person who actually belongs to a caste. As far as I know, there is no other Hindu in the chamber at the moment.
There is.
There is?
Lord Dalit, yeah.
Lord Dalit. Oh, I'm so sorry. Noble Lord Dalit, yeah.